Hey, it's Carl, and today I'm going to repurpose two of my store tanks, actually. The popularity of shrimp has exploded here, obviously, and I just don't have a good way of displaying them. I have all the different colors kind of scattered throughout the store. So my idea is to kind of get them all into one place all together where they're easy to see. So I have two 36-inch tanks, they're 23-gallon tanks, that I'm going to compartmentalize so that I can kind of display all my shrimp in one area. So the way I have it figured out, I'm going to have 6 different color varieties in these 2 tanks. So I've got the tanks all cleaned out, and I'm going to silicone in some partitions that I had cut, and we'll assemble these tanks and get these shrimp a new home. So yeah, here's the tanks, got them all out and cleaned up, ready to go. They're going to go right back into that space there, along with the rest of the wall. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great spot to show off the shrimp. I use these blue ones because I think it'll just show off a little bit better, and they're a little bit brighter. Going to go with black silicone and black gravel and all that, just so the shrimp will stand out nice. But yeah, so I'm going to get these measured up and get them ready for some partitions. So the tanks are all marked now where the partitions are going to go. So this will divide the tank into 3 separate compartments. So I'm going to grab those glass dividers and probably tape them into place and then tack them in with some silicones. So these are the partitions that I had cut up, and I did get the top edge all ground nice and smooth because we're going to be reaching in and over top of these and we don't want to get all scratched up or cut by it, so I made sure I ground these edges. But yeah, just going to get these in, tack them into place with some silicone so we can seal it all up. So I just have to find the right edges that are ground and then line them up with my tape. Oh, I got the wrong ones. There we go. Let's try this. There we go. I'm just going to kind of tape them in place to hold them, and then get some silicone in there to tack them into place. So I was supposed to bring a square to work today and I totally forgot, so I cut a piece of a cardboard box, the lid of a box, so it was already cut square, and I just want to make sure everything's nice and square here. So everything's looking good there. I'm now going to get a couple gobs of silicone in there to kind of solidify it into place and make it a little more rigid. Then I can go through and really seal it up good. So I really like these. These are going to look good. They're just the right size for each species of shrimp. I think they're going to do really well. So I have the partitions in place now, the glass partitions, and I originally taped them into place and then put a couple dabs of silicone on them afterwards. Now that silicone's dry, I'm going to take the tape off, but I'm also going to run tape up and down the seams just so I get a nice straight bead of silicone. So just on the inside here, I'm going to, just going to take a piece of tape, so I just put that tape on the inside with just maybe a 1/16 of an inch of space, just because I want to have a nice even line on the silicone, especially when you're looking at it from the front. So I'm going to take this out right now, tape it up top again. Yeah, I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not measuring it, but I just want nice straight beads of silicone. So there. So now you can see I've got gonna have a nice line of silicone in there. So I got my black silicone, and I'm just going to run a bead of silicone along the inside glass, along the taped seams there, along the bottom, and then up around the back again. I'll get a nice bead, a nice smooth bead on there, and then I'll take my wet finger, smooth it out a little bit farther, and then I'm going to pull the tape off so it'll give it a nice straight edge. Now I'm just going to take my wet finger and smear it out just to give it a nice smooth finish. So there's number one, all done and siliconed up. And now you can see I'm gonna have nice straight silicone lines once I get that tape off and the wax pen off. And I'll clean up the rest with a razor blade afterwards. So all the silicone's done, tanks are in place, and I'm just gonna let the silicone get a little tackier before I pull off the tape. But then when I have the tape off, it should be nice straight lines and should look really good. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's gonna look great, and it's really gonna display the shrimp well. This is so satisfying watching this tape come off and leave a nice straight line. It's got the tape all off. It actually looks really good. There is some messy spots. I'm not the greatest silicone guy in the world, so I have to take a razor to some spots tomorrow, get it all cleaned up when it's good and hard. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it alone, let it harden up overnight. We'll check it again in the morning. So next day, silicone has sat all night and it's all nice and set now. I did get my razor scraper out and cleaned up all my messes, all my drips and rough edges and things, so I got it all cleaned up. So it's looking really good, really happy with the way it turned out. So now it's time for substrate. So fluval shrimp and plant stratum, that's what I'm gonna put in there. So I'm gonna get that in and then get it filled up. That's the exciting part. Get it filled up, get the filters on and get it running and get it ready for some shrimp. Well, they're looking good now. Got the substrate in, got the water in. I actually had to do a couple water changes because the water gets so cloudy. These clay-based substrates like this fluval stratum, they have a lot of dust in them, and which is good for your plants and stuff, but it does make your water kind of cloudy. I didn't want to wait too long for them to clear up, so I did a couple water changes, and now I'm just going to install the sponge filters. I'm just using simple sponge filters like this, and because I knew I was building this shrimp station a while ago, I've actually had these running in established tanks already. So they're all cycled and ready to go. So I can get these on. Once the water clears up and is up to temperature, I'll probably let it run for a day or two, put some plants in there, and then I'll be able to add the shrimp right away. But first off, let's get these sponge filters in there. So it's been a few days now and the tanks have cleared up beautifully. They're looking great. The sponge filters are working good. I added some plants to the tank. So each compartment has a little glob of subwasser tang, which shrimp love that stuff. I also planted one little root of Blixa japonica in each one, just to give them some plants to kind of crawl around on, and they can feed on the biofilm and stuff, and to help put some beneficial bacteria in those tanks too. But realistically, these tanks are already fully cycled. I had these filters running in established tanks before I even moved them into these tanks. So these tanks are fully cycled. I put some of my straggler shrimp in there. So I had some blue reelies, some red reelie, and gold firebacks. So I put them in the bottom row already. And then today I got some new shrimp. I got crystal reds, crystal blacks, and some sun-kissed shrimp. So they're gonna go up in the top row. So plants are in, filters running, tanks are looking great. I'm gonna add the new shrimp that I have, and then I'm gonna give you a little tour of each compartment and show you the new shrimp that I have. So there's the setups all running nice. And yeah, we'll start with the crystal reds. Next up are the crystal blacks. They're looking good in there. Climbing around, there's one up on the filter there. A little bit of pearlweed in that one too. I put a little sprig of pearlweed in there. And there's the sun-kiss. We'll get those in the tank. So yeah, now they're settled in. Look at these guys all over the filter. Look at the babies. There is so many babies that came with these guys, and a lot of them were buried up, so a lot of the babies are coming out now. Now the gold firebacks. So there's the blue Rileys. There's some Hikari wafers on the bottom for them to eat. And the red Reelies. They've been molting, you can see the molts there, so I suspect we'll have some buried up females soon. You see the shrimp hanging out on the sponge filters a lot, and that sponge filters are great because they hold a lot of food for these guys, and so the shrimp can crawl all over the filters and feed off them. So I hope you enjoyed that build video. It was kind of a fun project that I'd wanted to do for a while now, and it's nice to get that done. And it is a really nice display. Now all these shrimp in one spot is a really nice way to look at the different kinds and for customers to check them out. I still have some stragglers in other tanks, and I may actually do another one of these at some point because I like to have a few more types of shrimp. But really happy with how this turned out. Great response so far. All the customers are loving it. So I hope you enjoyed this build. I hope you subscribe, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.